Okay. I just started the YouTube stream. We're back on YouTube. Now let me just post about it. Let me just post about it on our social media. Hello, everyone. I'm just posting on our Twitter account that we're live again. Had to restart YouTube stream because dumb, broken auto censor bot hid the stream again. Here's the one that's now live. Okay, that's now posted. We are back. It's funny, I write to them, I've written to them a million times about it. They in no way even acknowledge their system is broken, and they just don't do anything about it. It's just incredible. Because they don't give an S about their live streaming creators. They really couldn't care less. They just couldn't care less. They just don't care. Okay, we are back. Diana says they have 3 cases of Brazil variant in Minnesota. I hadn't heard that. I will see if I can get more on that. We read there was 1. Hang on. I haven't seen anything about 3 of them in Minnesota. We read the stories about 1 of them in Minnesota. I'm checking a bunch of Minnesota news outlets. They're not reporting it. I haven't seen that anywhere. Yeah, guys, the 3 cases in Minnesota, somebody said in the chat, I don't know what they're talking about. I've literally haven't seen that reported anywhere, and I'm checking all these Minnesota news sites. So don't post stuff in the chat unless you're going to source it, okay? That's just irresponsible. You shouldn't be posting that in the chat unless you can say, I saw it right here. It's on the homepage of this newspaper or on this Twitter account. Otherwise, it's just you're misleading people. Okay. All right, let's move on from that. No tornado warnings at the moment, by the way. Okay, the GameStop thing was really weird today. We should talk about the GameStop thing. GameStop stock went up over 130% this morning, and then it dropped by more than half. It's so crazy. Look at this. So GameStop stock had already gone up, had already like tripled recently. So it closed at 65. And then in the morning, it went from 65 to 140 something. Oh, 159. It got up to 159 from 65 in the first couple of hours of trading. And then it went from 159 down to 61. And that's only in like a couple hours. I think it got stopped like 10 or more times. I think like they stopped the trading because it was so volatile. It's this crazy thing where this is not because the fundamentals about the company have changed. There's this weird thing going on where like there's like a bunch of people on Reddit who are promoting the stock, and then there's people who've bet against the stock, and just all of this between these two groups of people, they're causing the price to fluctuate wildly. But I mean, it went up. It closed yesterday. It closed at 65. Again, it opens up. It gets up to 159.18, and then it goes down to 61.13, and now it's at 76.79. There's an article here about it, and Bloomberg has it. How Wall Street Bets, it's a Reddit group, pushed GameStop shares to the moon. Let's see here. GameStop has become a money geyser for the options-obsessed crowd that gathers in Reddit's Wall Street Bets forum. For those wagering on a decline, it's become a catastrophe. That's a bit detailed for me to read this article here. Then Markets Insider says GameStop short sellers, people who bet against a stock, lost $1.6 billion in a single day as Reddit traders rebelled against them. GameStop is just like a video game retailer with lots of stores all over. It's not like some, new company not many people know about. GameStop stock has continued to climb as Reddit users and day traders have extended the unusual momentum trade into its third week. The company's shares initially leaped on January 11th after it agreed with an activist investor to add 3 new directors to its board. The day's gains grew in swaths of retail traders, including members of the popular Wall Street Bets subreddit. Online posts urging other investors to join the trade have since driven outsized bullish momentum for GameStop. It's up more than 500% year to date. Some think the gains have been fueled by a massive short squeeze, which is when people who've bet against the stock need to buy the stock. They want to buy the stock to get out of their bet. It's kind of confusing, but basically, if you bet against a stock, if you short sell a stock, then to get out of it, you have to buy the stock and give it to somebody who loaned it to you, as strange as that sounds. So if a lot of people bet against the stock and the stock starts going up, then people who bet against the stock might be forced to buy the stock, which makes it go up more. That's a short squeeze. Anyways, I am certainly not an expert on this, but it's this crazy thing. It's this crazy thing where this company's stock, GameStop, and it's like a well-known company. It's not like much has changed about the company. It's not like they've come up with a cure for a new disease. It's just exploded, and then it went down a bunch today too. Let's see here. Yeah, this is 1 month. This is 6 months. That's 6 months. That's the last year. That's the last year of GameStop stock. And then this is at the end of the day today, but earlier today it was up by like 150. 1 month. Doesn't have the 150 there. I guess this is only closing prices each day. It's not intraday. The idea of short selling is you bet on a stock to go down. That's what you do. You make money if it goes down, you lose money if it goes up. Madison G says, I thought they would be bankrupt by now. But the point is that it's that, usually you expect a company's stock, the price to reflect its business fundamentals, like how much profit it's expected to make, how well it's supposed to do. But the last few days, it's just been going crazy, and it's seemingly divorced from what's actually happening at the company. But there's a lot more detailed stuff out there if you want to read about it. I'm certainly not up with all the details. All right, if you have comments, questions, if you have updates, at Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. Hold on a second. Hold on. There you go. Mary Incel, thanks for your kind words. Give me one more second here. Hey, guys, just give me 1 minute. I'll be right back in 1 minute. We'll continue our live coverage in 1 minute. Thank you for your patience. We are back. I also wanted to talk about, somebody sent me an article about what Biden said today, but there was a specific thing he said we which was particularly interesting to me. Yeah, so Kavit sent me this article, but I didn't find the 1.5 million vaccinations a day comment as interesting as another, something else he said. So the Biden administration had been saying like they want to give out 100 million vaccination doses in 100 days, which actually is not a very ambitious target because I believe there have already been days in the U.S. where 1 million or more than 1 million doses were given out. So he said now he's upped the target to 1.5 million a day. But something else he said that he thought, he was hoping that anyone who wants one could get one at some point in the spring, which seems very ambitious to me. He said, this is the Washington Post. It said, where is it here? Do they have the quote here in the Post? Here. By spring, said President Biden, everyone who wants a vaccine should be able to get one. It's going to be a logistical challenge that exceeds anything we've ever tried in this country, but I think we can do that. I mean, I'd be surprised if that happens. I don't think I'm going to get one in the spring. I don't think I'm going to get one in the spring. So, I mean, it'd be great. I like that he's being ambitious. I would just be surprised. Lizzie FTW says 1.5 million a day would still take over a year to vaccinate everyone just in America, correct? Well, something else is I don't think he's saying that 1.5 million is his ultimate target in the end. He means 1.5 million a day in the first 100 days. By the end of 100 days. So, yeah, if it was 1.5 million a day, I mean, you need that's doses. So that's only, it's 500,000 people a day, roughly speaking. No, 750,000 people a day. So you're talking like well over a year to vaccinate everybody. Now Johnson & Johnson vaccine, if it gets approved, is supposed to be a one-dose vaccine. Anyway, look, it's just, we have to see what happens with the supply. But again, I think I'm going to be probably on the back end of people who get it, and I'm not expecting to get it in the spring. So if I get it in the spring, I'll be pretty surprised. I'll be very pleasantly surprised. But I'm not holding my breath waiting to get it in the spring. Ron Borkin says he's going big. Yeah, I think the spring promise is a lot more ambitious than the 1.5 million a day. By the way, I want to say thanks to our viewer Sue Castenson. She sent me. Sue actually makes lip balm. She actually created a lip balm that was bought by a big company. But she sent me some agenda-free TV lip balm, so I can use it on the air. See, it's kind of neat. See, you have your mug, and people are like, wait, they have their own agenda-free TV mug, but it's a whole other level when you do this. When you have your agenda-free TV lip balm. You got to hold it like this so people can see the label. It's not really how you hold lip balm. You don't usually hold it like this. Anyways. Thank you, Sue. LNG says, I don't expect my vaccine until September. Kathy Wickman says, I'm surprised he said that. I'm surprised he said the thing about spring, too. I'm not surprised he said the thing about 1.5 million a day. I am surprised he said everyone who wants one will get one by spring. That just seems incredibly ambitious. Everyone who wants one will get one by spring? Misha thinks it'll happen. Look, really it depends on how much they make, how much of the stuff they can make. Pompidou says, I bet Alex Jones is jealous. I don't think he has lip balm. Johnny Anonymous says, spring 2022. Audrey Hoffman Burbank doesn't think it's going to happen by spring. Thank you, by the way, real quick. Thanks for the Facebook stars. I appreciate it. Denise Fredrickson. Thank you, Denise, who's also one of our moderators. She says, in Houston, it's really hit and miss down here, so many people want the vaccine. So many people want the vaccine. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate it. Thank you also, Dylan Page. Thank you, Dylan, for the Facebook stars as well. I appreciate it. I haven't heard this. Elizabeth Scott claims that DeSantis opened vaccinations for everyone starting February 1st. No, I haven't heard that at all. I haven't. Why would he do that? Why would DeSantis say that I can get the vaccine on February 1st? I've heard nothing about that. It's strange if he's doing that. I don't see that reported anywhere. I don't know why he'd do that. No, I don't see that reported. I don't see it reported anywhere. I have not seen it, and I don't see it. That wouldn't make sense for him politically. Why would he do that? If you're DeSantis and you really care about like the senior vote, how does it help you if you say, okay, I know the vast majority of seniors haven't got their vaccine yet, but I'm opening up to everyone? That wouldn't make any sense. Just silly. Also, it would be like the biggest story in the world. Kathy Wickman says, talk to somebody from Florida today. They can't even get an appointment and they are elderly. Thank you, by the way. Nicole Wilson says DeSantis was talking about all nursing home populations and staff, which makes sense. Thank you, Nicole, for your support. Thank you also, Sonic, for your support. I appreciate Sonic. And thanks for shouting out the mods, Sonic. Thank you. So you're hearing wrong. Darren mentioned the Governor Newsom thing. The Governor Newsom thing I don't think is being reported very well. You see these headlines that say like, Governor Newsom ends restrictions in California. And like, I think people see this headline and they think, oh, so everything in California is opening. That's just not the case at all. So California, before this statewide lockdown in California, it's been up to the counties, right? So what Newsom's the governor. So what Newsom had done is he had mandated statewide regulations. But he lifted those, but it's still up to the counties to decide what to do. So Newsom didn't say, okay, that's it. Everything is open in California. No more restrictions. I feel like some people see the headline like Newsom lifts whatever it is, restrictions, and they think, oh, he just opened everything up. It's like, no. He's just restricting the statewide regulations that he put into place. But it's totally up to the counties, like it was before he put in the state line regulations, to decide what to do. And there will still be lots and lots of restrictions in various places, depending on, how the local government wants to do it. But I think people see the headline and they think, oh, California's totally open. Yeah, Nicole says we still have restrictions, just not the regional thing. He had divided the state into like 5 regions, and then there were certain triggers for certain restrictions. That's not happening now anymore. I mean, it could happen again in the future, but that's very different than him mandating no restrictions. See, California restricts regional orders. That's from CNN. California lifts regional stay-at-home orders as ICU crowding eases. But the order had applied to Southern California, San Joaquin Valley, and Bay Area regions, which are home to more than 90% of the state's population. The 4-week ICU projections for these areas show enough capacity to exit the order. All 58 counties now return to the state's tier-based system, which places each into one of 4 color-coded tiers depending on which activities and businesses are allowed based on local virus rates and test positivity. I thought it was also up to I thought it was up to the counties too, though. Individual counties have the authority to set their own restrictions and can choose to keep the tougher restrictions in place. See? It's up to the counties. But there are still state restrictions in place too. So again, I just want to emphasize this is not that California is completely opened up. Manic Miner says it's no time to slack off just as the new mutations of the virus start to take hold. Diana L. says just wait till all these variants are spreading like wildfire all over the country. Yeah, there's a real worry that, they're probably already spreading. For example, the UK variant, which has become the dominant variant in the UK and spreads, according to experts, spreads a lot faster than the previous variants. There's a real worry that that's going to take over in the US and become the dominant one here. I mean, it's already here. It's already in like a number of states. It's already spreading. Jeff says, aren't cases and deaths dropping a lot? Well, the cases are down. The positive test, the number of people being detected with it is down, and deaths are down. But the hospital, but its stuff is way higher than it has been. So, like for example, if you go here, let's just go here. Let's go to COVID Tracking Project to show you. So hospitalizations are lower than they were, but they're still way higher than most of the pandemic. So this is from 2 hours ago. 133,000 cases, 109,000 people currently hospitalized. The currently hospitalized, that's for the whole pandemic there. So look, we're still way up here in the U.S. 1,593 deaths. A hopeful sign, COVID cases and hospitalizations continue to trend downward. But this is what happens. It's like stuff gets worse, and then, you have some places with stronger restrictions, and people worry more, and then it goes down, and then it goes back up. But what could be happening right now is you could have a situation where you're getting, for example, the UK variant is spreading and it's just not being reflected in the numbers yet because not that many people have gotten it yet. So it's certainly positive that some of these numbers are dropping, but I don't believe that we haven't seen widespread occurrence of these other variants yet, which might happen. The thing is with restrictions, if you look at what experts say about, when you put restrictions on, is you don't want to wait. If you think you're going to need restrictions, you're better putting them on sooner rather than later, because the longer you wait, the more out of control the spread gets, right? So and when things are spreading geometrically, if is it exponential spread, like it's going up by like a certain percentage each period, but without getting to all the mathematics of it, which I am not fluent with, but I hear expert after expert saying, like, if you know things are going to get worse and you're eventually going to have to lock down, you're much better off doing it sooner rather than later, because of the way this grows. But that's not really usually what happens in this country, at least. So, I'm guessing you're not going to see places where they're like, we need a lockdown now because we think the UK variant is spreading. Not just lockdown, we need these restrictions now. But if the problem is if you wait too long, and then the UK variant starts spreading and too many people have it, then it's already so many people have it. There's very limited effect you can have when you start putting in new restrictions. So I'm concerned about that, because I see a lot of experts concerned that they think the UK variant's really going to spread here, like it did in the UK. Hey, thanks so much, Duster Singer. I really appreciate that, Duster Singer. Thanks for your support. Duster watching on Facebook. Thank you. And thank you also to our moderators. We got Sarah55. She's there. Sarah Joy is there. Thank you. Rusty G, Angel Shark. Misha and Linda Belk have been in our Periscope chat. Thank you. Our Facebook and Twitch mods, Denise Fredrickson. Thank you, Denise. Roxanne Betke, thank you for being there. Dan Lindquist, thank you. And our Twitch mods, too. Idaho Star, Maddie Mags, Racing Neophyte, Tariag, thank you. If anybody's ever interested in being a volunteer moderator, let us know. That'd be awesome. We can always use more mods. You can ask the mods for more information on how to be a volunteer moderator. That'd be great. Carol Alfonso sent me this. See, Ron DeSantis said, by February 1st, the vaccine will have been offered to every resident and staff member of Florida's 700 nursing homes and assisted living facilities. That's not everyone in Florida. What he's saying is by February 1st, the vaccine will have been offered to every resident and worker at Florida's nursing homes and assisted living facilities. That's what it says. Thank you. Jeff, I wish your wife the best with her upcoming surgery. Jeff Curry. Ben Conark says, is this the UK variant? Yes, the UK variant is taking off in Florida, where known cases have roughly doubled in the last week from 46 to 91, according to the CDC. The updated numbers come a few days after British scientists said the strain is also more virulent, i.e. deadly. It's still, it's not clear that the UK variant is more deadly. That's being studied. The UK government says there's some evidence that it is. But Ben Conark he covers a lot of COVID stuff. He's a healthcare reporter with the Miami Herald. He says that the variant is taking off in Florida. I was reading an article the other day, which just makes a really good point about exponential growth. When exponential growth, as I understand it, it's when like something grows by a certain fixed percentage every time. Like if something doubles every day, or it goes up by 10% every day, or it goes up by 50% every day. So, for example, if you start off with one, if you start off with 1 grain of sand and then you double it and you keep doubling it, blah, 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 you think, oh, it's not going to be that much, 1, 2, 4. But eventually the numbers become huge in not that long a time. So the idea is if this variant is spreading fast, well, fine, one day there's one person who has it, and 2 days later there's 2, and a few days later there's 4. And you might think, oh, well, that's not going to be that many people. But if you give it enough days, it really starts ramping up fast if it's increasing exponentially at a high enough rate. Misha says, I feel like we're already at the point of no return, unfortunately. Yeah, there's way more people that have that variant in the U.S. that have been detected. Most people who get the virus, they don't get their sequence. They don't get it tested which variant they have. Give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter. Kevin Willemsma messaged me. Yeah, there have been some protests in the Netherlands. There have been some protests over the Netherlands about corona restrictions. This is the Telegraph is a Dutch newspaper. Kevin sent me this. I'll try to give you just a summary. That's gone on for the last few days. Police used tear gas and water cannon amid rioting over COVID restrictions in the Netherlands. It was the second night of unrest in Dutch towns and cities that initially began as protests against the country's tough coronavirus lockdown. I'm not familiar with the country in the sense of, I don't know if there's anything else going on here. Groups of youths confronted police in Dutch towns and cities, defying the country's curfew and throwing fireworks. Police in Rotterdam used a water cannon and tear gas. It was the second night of unrest in towns and cities across the Netherlands that initially grew out of calls to protest against the country's tough lockdown, but degenerated into vandalism by crowds whipped up by messages swirling on social media. Yeah, so it's hard when you see stuff like this. I don't know how widespread it is. I don't know how, is it... You could imagine stuff like this going on in the U.S. and you look at the people who do it and you say, you can imagine in the U.S. something like this happening, and on the one hand saying, oh, that really represents a lot of people. On the other hand, you can imagine it happening and saying, oh, those are just people who want to do violent stuff. So I don't really have a sense of what's going on there. Look, the rioting coincided with the first weekend of a new national virus curfew, but mayors stressed that the violence was not the work of citizens concerned about their civil liberties. The mayor of the city of Nijmegen said these demonstrations are being hijacked by people who only want one thing, and that is to riot. So I don't have a good enough sense. But there you have one mayor saying that, he believes people are taking advantage of the situation, which can happen. I remember during the George Floyd protests, you sometimes saw there would be video of cars, very organized shoplifting operations where you have these multiple cars pulling up to a store and people getting out and taking the merchandise. I don't think those people were particularly interested in the George Floyd case. I think they just wanted to take advantage of the situation when you saw stuff like that with the organized stealing of stuff. So I don't really know what's going on in the Netherlands, but you got to be careful about reading too much into. You see somebody setting something on fire and some demonstrations, and reading in too quickly to what exactly it means without being familiar with the actual, with the country and what's really going on the ground. So I'm not going to start drawing conclusions about it. You can reach me at Lookner on Twitter. Oh, there was this story about this weird story about the amount of unemployment fraud in California. That was kind of crazy. California officials say unemployment fraud now totals more than $11 billion during the pandemic, I believe. This is it's LA Times, but there's other outlets reporting it as well. It came from the state. California officials said Monday they have confirmed that $11.4 billion in unemployment benefits paid during the COVID-19 pandemic involve fraud. About 10% of benefits paid, and another 17% are under investigation. In addition to the confirmed fraud, the State Employment Development Department has stopped tens of billions of dollars in payments on bogus claims through tougher security measures. The state labor secretary said California has not had sufficient security measures in place to prevent this level of fraud, and criminals took advantage of the situation. In addition to the 10% of the unemployment benefits confirmed to involve fraud, the state is investigating another 17% of benefits involving suspicious claims that have not yet been proven to be fraudulent, about $19 billion worth. Officials said a large number of those claims could end up being fraudulent as well. I can't really speak to this. I mean, clearly, this is not something you want to happen, and clearly, I mean, she said herself that there were not adequate security procedures in place. She said part of the blame goes to the Trump administration, which she said failed to provide adequate guidance and resources to California to counter fraudulent claims, almost all of which were filed through a new federal program that provides unemployment benefits to gig workers, independent contractors, and the self-employed. That's interesting. Almost all, see, I didn't even see this before. Almost all of the fraudulent claims were filed through a new federal program that provides unemployment benefits to gig workers, independent contractors, and the self-employed. So I guess it makes sense because, like, if you're employed by a company, right, then they probably say, well, we need some documentation of the company of what your like a pay stub or something, or what your salary is. I wonder if with this program, with the one where if you're a gig worker, an independent contractor, or self-employed, if it's easier to, come up with fraudulent evidence. Because they're not going to ask you like, hey, send us your company's pay stub that your company sent you because you're working for yourself. That's interesting. EDD officials are also warning against about new fraud schemes. EDD has reports that individuals are impersonating EDD and ID.me to get individuals to divulge their personal identifying information. While other states have also been hit with fraud, California's population and outdated system mean it has been hit particularly hard. Not good. MK says, I'm self-employed in Connecticut and had to provide the state proof of income to receive that employment. I don't know. Clearly something went wrong here with the verification on these things. Kimberly Barr said Washington State lost huge amounts too. I vaguely remember reading something about that several months ago. We talked about it on the air. Now, look, it's what happens is when what probably happened. I mean, my guess is what happens is you have this pandemic, and then the Congress passes, and the president pass new stimulus, and they want to get it out to people. But when you have big amounts of money that are being given out to people fast, I'm guessing that reduces the amount of. And you don't want people to get, you want to get the money to people and not want to have them make them wait. But then if you want to speed things up, if you want to speed up the process of getting money to people, I'm guessing that restricts the amount of security you'll have in verifying stuff. Misha said self-employed and gig workers got skipped in the PPEs. You mean the payments to businesses to give money to their employees? Doe Zavada says scammers are everywhere. Maria B says, I'm surprised there could be even that much fraud because so many people had to wait months to get even a single check or a returned phone call. Anonigan says the problem is states don't have enough staff to process the huge increase in applications. Sam Squanchez says a lot has gone wrong everywhere. Underdog says, I've been unemployed for a year. I'm sorry to hear that. Worked in a really fancy restaurant, made over $100 in tips a night. That job might not be coming back anytime soon. Okay, so that happened. Some viewers sent me this happened tonight. Mitch McConnell says 2 Senate Democrats confirmed they will not vote to end the legislative filibuster. They agree with President Biden and me on protecting the Senate. So currently in the Senate, Senate has 100 members, but you actually have to have 60 votes to pass legislation, not just 50. So you don't just have to have a majority in the Senate to pass legislation, because what happens is there's this thing called the filibuster, where the minority can. Well, I think the idea of a filibuster is that a person gets up and talks endlessly. But basically, the bottom line is that a filibuster allows the minority to prevent the majority from passing legislation in the Senate, unless the majority has 60 votes. 60 votes stops a filibuster. So there's been this discussion: would the Democrats get rid of the filibuster because they think the Republicans are going to obstruct them? But that's this thing, that's this long-standing tradition in the Senate. So, I guess a couple Democrats have said that they would agree to not get rid of it. I think the Democrats could get rid of it with a majority vote, but they won't have a majority voting for it now. Yeah. McConnell dropped his demands that Democrats promised to preserve. Oh, so here's what happened. Okay, so just going back to the tweet here. He says 2 Senate Democrats confirmed they will not vote to end it. But he's dropped his demand that it's in the agreement. Senator McConnell on Monday dropped his demand that the new Democratic Senate majority promise to preserve the filibuster. McConnell found a way out by pointing to statements by 2 centrist Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, that said they oppose getting rid of the procedural tool, a position they had held for months, as enough of a guarantee. So basically, I don't really want to get into this. Basically, McConnell was originally looking for something in writing for the Democrats, saying we will not get rid of the filibuster, and we're going to put it in writing. We're going to put it in writing. So he has now dropped that demand. He is not having them put it in writing anymore. But he says he cited this position by 2 Democrats who I guess had taken that position for months, that they didn't want to get rid of it. As they press forward on Mr. Biden's agenda, Democrats will come under mounting pressure from activists. So yes, just to be clear, the way he phrased it in his tweet was that as if there was something new that 2 Senate Democrats had like adopted some new position. But according to the Times story, that isn't a really new position. So anyway, so the Democrats haven't agreed to anything. The Democrats have not agreed to sign something saying they won't get rid of the filibuster. And it says here, as they press forward on Mr. Biden's agenda, Democrats will come under mounting pressure from activists to jettison the filibuster, which effectively requires 60 votes to advance any measure, should Republicans use it regularly to stall or stop the administration's priorities. Even some lawmakers who have backed keeping the filibuster strongly said they could change their minds if Republicans engaged in constant obstruction. Anyways, I don't really want to get into this now. I was just trying to give you an update there. See, Michelle Sparks said Mitch gave up the gavel tonight also. I guess, so they had he gave up the gavel? Like, because the Democrats were already controlling. Oh, I think is it did they have to reach for him? No, because he was the minority leader. I know the committee chairmanships hadn't switched over from Republican to Democrat because they hadn't signed an agreement. They had to. There was like some power. There was some. They had to agree to a plan to organize the chamber. It's kind of confusing. Here. This was delay in power sharing pact leaves Senate in limbo. This was from a couple days ago from Politico. Democrats are in control of the Senate, but Senator Ron Johnson, Republican, is still leading the Homeland Security Committee. That's because there had not been a power sharing agreement reached. But I guess it's going to be reached now, it looks like. So I don't want to get. There's more details to get into. I'm not particularly interested in getting into all the details. You can read a lot more about it online. I'm sure you can find a million articles about it. Hector Hernandez thinks not ending the filibuster will guarantee the Democrats will lose the Senate in 22 and presidential elections in 2024. Starfire 3 says McConnell wants to block everything. Okay. You are watching our live news update here on Agenda Free TV 2. Just a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, I actually have two YouTube news channels. There's this and Agenda Free TV. See, Agenda Free TV 2 and Agenda Free TV. On the other platforms, it's just Agenda Free TV. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to both Agenda Free TV 2 and Agenda Free TV, because that's the main channel, Agenda Free TV, but I do these news wrap-ups on Agenda Free TV 2. All right, is there anything else I wanted to cover during this stream? Please don't, just a heads up, please don't message me in the chat saying, look at your Twitter. I understand why people do it, but it like spams up the chat, right? You know, if everybody in the chat is saying, look at my message on Twitter, then people can't talk about the stories because people are saying, look at my chat on Twitter. So please don't. I will periodically check my messages and get to as many of them as I can. But please don't put that stuff in the chat because it just kind of, again, it's just for everybody else. It just spams up everything. By the way, thanks for your support, Phyllis Melkonjan. I appreciate it, Phyllis Melkonjan. Thanks for your support. And Harry as well. Thank you. Okay. Let me just check a couple more things here. I haven't seen any updates from Portland. On the Portland story, I've seen nothing. One thing I'm watching here, I'm keeping an eye on this. I think somebody sent me this article. I can't remember who, maybe Nicole Wilson, I'm not sure. But Lufthansa to ban cloth masks on board from February. In certain countries and in certain places within certain countries, they're starting to insist on like better than cloth masks. That's not going on in the U.S. I've started wearing 2 masks in the U.S. But it's something I'm interested to see if that's going to maybe be something that happens more in the U.S. Here's this, for example. European countries mandate medical grade masks over homemade cloth face coverings. Now, the thing is, in the U.S., like the U.S. couldn't do this now. I mean, there's really... if you go looking for medical grade masks in the US, you have to like go online and you have to look at like these sites and you know nothing about the site, and then you don't know if the stuff is real or fake. And so I think if this is going to happen in the US, and the government's going to have to come out with like a site and say these are trusted vendors of these things. A number of European countries are beginning to make medical-grade face masks mandatory in the hope they can slow the spread of the disease. The French government has now mandated that citizens wear single-use surgical FFP1 masks, more protective FFP2 filtering faceplate respirators or fabric masks, which meet the same Category 1 specifications, blocking more than 90% of particles in all public places. In layman's term, in France, homemade masks will no longer cut it. I mean, it's such a difference. It follows a decision by the German government on Tuesday, requiring all people to wear either FFP1 or FFP2 masks while on public transport in workplaces or shops. In Bavaria, the state of Bavaria in Germany, they are enforcing surgical-grade N95 respirators. Cloth mask, surgical mask, respirator. The thing is, in the U.S., though, if you did this now in the U.S., like I don't know that people would know where to get them. I don't really know where to get these things like in a reliable way. Unlike fabric and surgical masks, which protect other people from larger respiratory droplets emitted when speaking, coughing, or sneezing, in other words, outflowing air, FFP masks protect the person wearing it by filtering out both the outflow and the inflow of air. They can also provide some level of protection against smaller droplets or aerosols. When fitted correctly, FFP2 masks can filter at least 94% of particles. The new recommendations in Europe come after supplies of medical masks have increased, following initial fears they wouldn't be enough for frontline workers, but there are still questions over supply chain disruptions. Current guidance from the World Health Organization says that medical or surgical masks should only be worn by healthcare workers, people with COVID symptoms, those coming into contact with them, anyone age 60 or over, as well as people with underlying medical conditions. So I'm interested in seeing what happens in the U.S. Is this something we'll eventually see in the U.S.? I have no idea. Secret Fox says the cost would be burdensome, especially for single-use ones. Yeah, so that's the other thing about, like, if it was going to happen in the U.S., if you want to make people wear these masks, which would be, like N95 masks are what, like $4 each or something? Yeah, I mean, you'd expect that maybe the government would have to supply some. Curtis Cardwell says the government just needs to get them back into brick and mortar stores. Before, I could pick them up at my local feed store for 65 cents pre-COVID. Nan B says, shame on all countries for not mass producing N95 masks. But that's something I'm very interested in seeing what happens, especially like, say the UK variant starts spreading in the US. I hope it doesn't, but say it does and the cases go way up and the hospitalizations go up again. At that point, you start hearing in the US about certain localities mandating, better masks. Denise Fredrickson says, when I fly, I wear an N95 mask to protect myself. I do appreciate that everyone is wearing some sort of mask. Nicolette G says, the littering of used masks has gone up. Inclined Futon says cost to supply adequate masks to all would be cheaper than closing down the economy. I just started wearing 2 masks. Lilu Bella says I wear 2 masks sometimes. I just started wearing 2 masks myself, I think today. Hey, by the way, I owe a thank you to Harry and Phyllis Melkonjian. That's very generous of you. I appreciate your generous support. Harry and Phyllis Melkonjian. That's very kind of you. Thanks so much for your support of the news programming. Much appreciated, Harry and Phyllis. Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice of you. I'm thinking one sec says it will be so weird to see unmasked people once this is over. I think it's weird if I watch like an old TV show and people are next to each other. I think Dr. Fauci said something about 2 masks today. Dr. Fauci, double masking makes common sense and is more likely effective. NBC News. Could wearing 2 face masks during the pandemic provide more protection than wearing just one? According to White House advisor Dr. Fauci, it likely does. He said masks are physical coverings that prevent respiratory droplets from spreading to other people and provide a degree of protection to the wearer. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense it will be likely be more effective. That's the reason why you see people either double masking or doing a version of an N95. Yet the CDC has not recommended double masking yet, but the practice generated buzz when people were seen wearing 2 masks at the inauguration, like Amanda Gorman. And Pete Buttigieg wearing 2 masks, see? Oh, so's he. And is Chasen Buttigieg his husband? I forget. I want to say it is, but I want to be sure. Yes, I believe Chasen Buttigieg is Pete Buttigieg's husband. He's wearing 2 as well. So, sorry. Yeah, so I wonder if you're going to see more people doing it. I just started doing it, like, I think today or yesterday. It was very easy, actually. Like, I just had never thought of it before. I just put on an extra mask. It didn't really feel much different. Didn't really take any extra time. People are saying, yes, Chasen is the husband. Miss Misha says, my pinned pic on Twitter is double masked. Madison G says, double mask, thumbs up. AC Life says, I used to be able to get N95 mask easily at any farm supply place. Try Granger. Void Moon says you can see which masks are emergency authorization approved at FDA site. The thing is, though, like I can look up, hey, this is a good kind of mask, but if I don't know if I go to some site if that's going to be like the real deal or not, or if it's going to be fake version. So, I would just like, I would be good. It would be good if I think the CDC, say, had a site where they said, if you want an N95 mask, click this link. This company sells legit non-fake ones. Okay. Beth said, not harder to breathe. I honestly didn't notice a difference. I didn't wear 2 masks that much today, but it wasn't like I just put one of my masks, my cloth mask, over my other one. I didn't really notice a difference. Maybe a little warmer. But in terms of breathing, I didn't really notice. Let's see here. I don't know. I want to make sure. Hey, I want to say thanks. I'm not sure, Phyllis and Harry. I just want to make sure you didn't accidentally donate twice. I got to message them. Yeah, once in a while, there can be an accidental donation. So while I very much appreciate the donations, of course, I want people to not make accidental donations. By the way, I really appreciate anybody who donated because that's how I am able to be on the air and cover the news, including Pixie Druid. Thank you, Pixie Druid. That's very kind of you. So thank you for that. If you do want to support my channels, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. And I also owe a thank you to Janet McLaughlin for the Facebook stars. Thank you so much, Janet. Oh, the YouTube thing happened again. We're probably not going to stay on much longer anyway. So, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, YouTube blocked the stream again. YouTube blocked the stream, hid the stream again, once again. So we're going to wrap it up soon anyway. So I'm going to, again, it's ridiculous. What can I say? Oh, okay. Hey, I owe a big thank you to Phyllis. She said it wasn't an accident. So Phyllis and Harry Melkonjan, that is extremely generous of you and very kind of you. I really appreciate your donations. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Thank you. She said, no, it wasn't an accident. Thank you. That's very generous of you. Kay Gebhardt says, do you have Venmo? No, there's no Venmo, but you can, PayPal. There's a lot of if you want to do it through PayPal or credit card, there's all these options at agendafree.tv. Agendafree.tv. You can do it by PayPal or credit card or whatever. Yeah, so YouTube did the stupid thing again where their system is just broken. And then like after an hour of the stream, they flag streams. And then they flag the streams because supposedly their automated system is supposed to flag streams that are like breaking the rules. But this is breaking no rules. And then the really stupid thing that they do is it takes like 24 hours for a human to look at it and say, oh, this is a mistake, and then unhide the stream. And no matter how many mistakes they make, they never fix the original flagging system. And all they say to you is they say, well, it's during the pandemic and fewer people are in the office. Who cares if anyone's in the office? Somebody at home, every time, there's no reason that a YouTube employee who's at home instead of the office can't look at this stream, that they can't get an alert saying, hey, look, the automated system just flagged this stream. Can you check this out? They can literally click on the link, if they have the link, and look at the stream for 5 seconds and say, oh, our stupid broken system made a mistake. Unhide this. But I have probably gone through 20 or 25 customer service chats with them, and they never acknowledge that the system is actually making mistakes. They never respond when I say, when they always say, well, there's fewer people in the office, and they never respond to when I say, well, that doesn't make any sense because somebody doesn't have to be in the office to literally just check and make sure there hasn't been a mistake. They never respond to that. They just never respond to anything. They never admit that the system is broken. And it's just the same canned response, which is, well, during the pandemic, there's fewer people in the office, so we're relying on our automated system more. That doesn't address that the automated system is clearly broken, and they don't try to fix it. It doesn't address that they don't promptly review hides of live streams, which doesn't require somebody to be in the office. They literally won't acknowledge this stuff. It's the same thing again and again and again. And then, you know what I bet? I bet when the pandemic's over, they still won't fix it. Right, and Idea to Go says they should whitelist channels that have a good track record. Yeah, I've brought this up with them too. I say, look, I have done well over 1,000 news videos, never broken the rules, live news videos, and so why can't the system give me the benefit of the doubt? They literally don't respond, and there's nobody to talk to. So this is what happens. Kay Gebhardt says, I want to start directly donating so YouTube doesn't get a cut of your money. I'm tired of their nonsense. Thank you, Kay Gebhardt. It's just ridiculous. It's been going on for a year. It's just ridiculous. But I was going to wrap up the stream anyway, so I'm not going to restart it. But I apologize. Just makes it impossible for people to find the stream. And I have gone so many times, customer service. I've just gone over the same thing again. I just had a chat with them a few weeks ago, never did anything. And then if I message them tonight, and say, you hid my streams again, you know what they'll say? They'll say, oh, well, you're already talking to this customer service representative about it. So don't talk to us, reply to that email. But I do reply to the email and they never write me back. Just amazing. And you can't talk to a human being. Facebook and Google, good luck ever trying to talk to a human being there and getting help. They're like the wealthiest companies in the world, and they have like no customer service. Now, at least YouTube has a support chat, albeit it's often incredibly unhelpful, as I've just been telling you about this issue. But Facebook, you can't even get a human. Can't talk to anyone. Nothing. You don't even get a canned response. It's unbelievable. When did that become okay? You have like the biggest company in the world and you have no customer service. All right. Well, look, I was going to wrap it up soon anyway, so. I think it's time. No, Maria's Kitty Cats, if I go to the Twitter YouTube site, they'll just give me they'll give me the same canned stuff as the other stuff. They just never, I've been going through it for a year with them. It's just unbelievable. They're a monopoly, so they don't care. All these companies are monopolies, so they don't care. They don't care at all because they're monopolies. Yep, Strange Reverend said it. Made enough money, don't need to care anymore. Yeah, why care if you're a monopoly? Why care about your creators if you're a monopoly? And there's no realistic competition. Hang on one second. Okay, look. I think we're going to wrap this stream up because I covered the stories that I wanted to get to. But be sure to subscribe to this channel, Agenda Free TV. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching Agenda Free TV too. So if you're watching on YouTube, remember I have 2 YouTube news channels. I have Agenda Free TV 2 and Agenda Free TV on YouTube. So this is Agenda Free TV 2. This is Agenda Free TV. That's where I cover like single breaking news stories. And then also I have my own channel on YouTube called Lookner, Lookner, where I do some non-news videos. So you can check out all the channels. Hey, I really appreciate you guys tuning in spite of the burdens that YouTube constantly puts up to you finding the streams. I really appreciate you tuning in to the stream tonight. And also, thanks for your participation. A lot of people sending me news updates and also letting me read your comments on the air. So thank you for that. A big thanks to our moderators as well. Thank you so much, moderators. They're all volunteers, so give it up to them. Sarah 55, Sarah Joy, thank you. Who else was there? We had a bunch of other ones as well. Oh, I've been thanking earlier. Am I missing anyone there right now? Also, Misha's been there. Thank you, Misha. She's moderating on Periscope. Terry, I'm gonna announce my new mailing address soon. I don't want to announce it right now. We're gonna do a stream very soon on the Lookner channel where I announce the new mailing address. Rusty G is there. Hey, thank you, Rusty G, for moderating as well. Thanks also to our Facebook moderators. Denise Fredrickson, thank you. Bud Green. Thank you. Roxanne Betke. Krista Borden. Hey, thanks to all of our Facebook moderators. Dan Lindquist was there too. And our Twitch moderators. Idaho Star, Maddie Maggs, Racing Neophyte, and Terriag. Thank you for moderating there. And big thanks to the people who donated, because that is what allows me to do this coverage 7 days a week. Huge thanks. And I owe a special thanks again to Phyllis and Harry Melkonjan. That's very kind of you. Thanks for your generous support, Phyllis and Harry. And everybody else who donated. Much appreciated. Oh, Star Fowler and Kisha Johnson gave Facebook stars. Star Fowler and Kisha Johnson. And also Janet McLaughlin, Denise Fredrickson, and Dylan Page. Thank you for the Facebook stars. Much appreciated. Follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I will post breaking news updates there at Lookner. If you're interested in being a moderator, ask the mod. That'd be awesome. You can ask the mods for more information on how to be a volunteer moderator. The Discord notifications. Hey, the best way to know that when I'm coming on the air for one of my channels is Discord. Discord notifications. Check those out. They're free, and the link is at the bottom of the YouTube video description. And the mods can also post that link as well. If you put the Discord app on your phone like I do, it'll actually pop up on your phone when we're coming on the air. So those are the most reliable notifications. The best way to make sure you don't miss a breaking news broadcast is sign up for the Discord notifications. All right, and I'll do a stream soon where I don't know that it'll be tonight, maybe tomorrow, where I announce the new mailing address. Hey, thanks to our viewers. Thank you, Olraj and Plano, for watching. Clint Templeton as well for watching in our Periscope chat. And Don Lynn Abbott, thank you. Ken HTX. Ken says 3M has a site to ensure you're buying real 3Ms. Enter numbers on box. Maybe I'll have to check it out. Thank you, Ken HTX, for watching. Ken says, every year we might need booster shots for new strains of COVID. We might. Thanks for your kind words about the walking stream. Thank you. We did an Orlando walk stream today on the Lookner channel. Thanks to our Twitch viewers. Shaggy, thank you. Johnny Anonymous. Yang Chat, Sir Checks-a-Lot. Healthy, Wealthy, and Why. C. Swigum. Captain Spaulding. Carbon Pile. Billion X. And our other Twitch viewers. Thanks for watching there. Thanks to our Facebook viewers, too. Darren Thompson. Christine Topher. Kelly Williams. Nicolette Geese. Mary Insel, thank you. And thanks to our other viewers. Duster Singer, thanks for watching. And all of our Facebook viewers. And John W. Harvey. John, we already talked about that accident in Portland. If you rewind to the beginning of the stream, we spent a bunch of time talking about the Portland incident. John W. Harvey. I'll let you know if I hear more on my Twitter account. Thank you, John W. Harvey, for watching and for the news tip. Also, thanks to our YouTube viewers, Jeff Curry, Strange Reverend, Daniel Boberson, Sean Biard, Arizona Jumper, Ann M., Lovely Heaven, TJ, Merkrow, Underdog Rising, Curtis Cardwell, Lynn Smith, Alibaba, Kita G, Buccaneer, Madison G, Daniel Terrell, Miss Ravioli, Kita G, Shrubby, Ann M., Keely O'Donnell, Cats Go Nuts, Dennis Olson, Loch Losty, Dennis Olson, Hector Hernandez, J. Tay, Kathy Calm, The Logical Danger, Kay Gebhardt, Maria B., Upstate Zach, Mark Worling, June 0130, Canadian Sunset, Susie Q, Jane Doe, Dennis Olson, and everybody else in the YouTube chat. And John Gidry, and Tony Del Monte. And if you didn't see it earlier, you can go watch the Orlando Walk stream on the Lookner channel. All right. Marky, thanks for watching as well. Oh, Rita's Real. Hey, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Rita's Real, for your support. Thank you, Rita's Real. All right, guys. I am wrapping up this live stream now. I'm sure we'll have more news coverage soon. So thank you again for watching. And thanks again to all the mods. And thanks to all the lurkers who were just watching and not being in the chat. That's cool, too. And thanks to everybody who donated as well. Again, much appreciated. So thank you, guys. That's it for now. We will see you soon with more live news coverage on Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2.